Welcome to 60 Skills. The topic of today's discussion is meditation in engineering. This will be an ongoing series of lectures that will be broken down into a few parts. The basic parts are body, sensation, mind, the void, and non-dual light. For those of you who are already familiar with the 60 Skills curriculum, there aren't going to be a whole lot of surprises here. However, this is written to attract a new audience so that people can have a slightly deeper understanding of what we do here if they come from a non-esoteric background. Simply put, the practice of meditation in the yogic arts is the result of stacking lots of different phenomena one on top of another to generate a unified effect. Now, some of the mechanisms at play are simply not very well understood. However, the way of manipulating these phenomena is well understood, even if we can't measure it very well. So what I'm getting at here is all of the meditative and yogic phenomena are really just a form of technology that responds extremely well to an organized training process involving the stacking of phenomena. It is essentially one of engineering, because while we may not understand the science behind it very well, we do understand extremely well how to generate those phenomena, and for the most part what they mean. So, this series of lectures, which will be released over the next few weeks, will contain the basics of how we train these phenomena. So the first of these will deal with the body, and it will largely factor on and deal with how we train the soft tissues in the body, specifically the ligaments, tendons, and yes, the infamous fascia. The next lecture in the series will deal with sensation. Now this is important because one of the interesting things about meditative and yogic work is that you learn how to train your senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, so on and so forth. And it's the training of sensation that generates these things that some people refer to as chi or prana or subtle energy or astral energy or so on and so forth. Next in this series, there will be a lecture on the training of the mind. Now this is interesting because the mind itself largely deals with phenomena that go beyond space and time, the result of which its training involves focus and relaxing, or grasping and releasing. And again, we'll get into more detail on this in the upcoming lecture. Next in the lecture series, we will deal with something known as the void. This is that state of divine emptiness out of which polarity emerges, from which you get the positive and the negative, the hot and the cold, the male and the female, so on and so forth. In many traditions, this is in fact confused with enlightenment. It is not. That is the subject of the final lecture in the series, which will deal with something that we refer to as non-dual light. Non-dual light is that thing that the sages have been arguing over for thousands of years that can only be defined in the negative. It is not this. It is not that. The reason being is it goes beyond the three main ways human beings deal or provide parameters to phenomena. It goes beyond the constraint of physicality. It goes beyond the constraint of time and sensation, and it goes beyond the constraint of space. So if you don't have something that's constrained by sensation, space, time, or physical material, what is that? And we'll get into that a bit more in that lecture. So to sum up, this is the first part in a series of lectures I will be giving on how you structure meditative and yogic practice. Specifically, so people with an engineering background, note I didn't say science, I said engineering, can better understand how and why these phenomena are in fact repeatable, and in fact pretty easily repeatable too. The main problems normally being simply a lack of proper structure, poor pedagogy, or simply a complete lack of understanding regarding how these things fit together. So, if you like the topic of today's lecture, please give us a like down below and hit the subscribe button. And if you would like to learn more about the 60 Skills curriculum, please go into the text portion of the video down below and you can check out some appropriate links. Otherwise, train hard and be well.